Good evening, America. I'm your host, and tonight we're talking about the man who won't rest until every inch of the universe is covered in a thin layer of stainless steel and X-branded narcissism. Of course, we're talking about Elon Musk, the man who is currently playing a real-life game of SimCity, except he's turned off all the disaster settings and deleted the pollution tab from the menu. Elon's AI company, xAI, has been busy building a massive supercomputer in Tennessee called Colossus. Great name, isn't it? Although it reminds me of the Thundermans. But it sounds like the villain's base in a 1970s Bond movie, or perhaps the final boss in a video game where the goal is to exhaust the world's energy supply as quickly as possible. But it turns out Colossus has a bit of a colossal problem. On February 11th, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, or as Elon calls them, the Fun Police, decided that Elon's operation was about as legal as a pyramid scheme run by a ferret. And here's the deal. To run a giant AI that can generate pictures of cats wearing cowboy hats in 8K resolution, you do need electricity. A lot of it. Enough to dim the lights in 3 surrounding states. And most people would call the local power company and say, hey, can I plug in my giant brain? But Elon? No. Elon doesn't wait for infrastructure. Infrastructure is for people who believe in things like the passage of time and permits. Instead, Elon installed dozens of methane gas turbines without a single permit. He used a legal loophole designed for temporary generators. You know, the kind of generator you use for a weekend construction site or a very aggressive bounce house at a kid's birthday party. Elon's temporary setup was basically a permanent power plant disguised as a pop-up shop. He's like that guy who lives in a tiny house on wheels so he doesn't have to pay property taxes, but the tiny house is actually a 6-story mansion and the wheels are made of solid gold and never move. The EPA finally caught on, and then they said, Elon, you can't just burn methane like you're hosting a barbecue for the entire state of Tennessee. They closed the loophole, and they told him his Colossus was an illegal polluter. And Elon's response? Did he say, oh, my bad, I'll install some solar panels and wait for the grid? No, that's what a beta would do. Elon went full alpha. Days after the EPA ruling, Musk announced the ultimate pivot, the merger of xAI and SpaceX. And his logic is simple, brilliant, and terrifying. If the EPA won't let me burn gas in Tennessee, I'll just burn it in orbit. So Elon's plan is to build data centers in outer space. And why? Because, as we all know, there is no EPA in the vacuum of space. There are no Clean Air Acts when there's literally no air. It's the ultimate libertarian dream. A server farm where the only regulation is the law of gravity, and even that is negotiable if you have enough boosters. So think about the pitch. Why pollute a local river when you can pollute the entire ionosphere? And he wants to launch Colossus into the stars. He's literally trying to put the cloud in the actual clouds. He's taking the term cloud computing way too literally. I'm waiting for the press release where he announces that the North Star is actually just a giant blinking LED from a server rack that's running a particularly demanding version of Grok. And imagine the technical meetings at SpaceX right now. The engineer says, Elon, the heat generated by the AI chips is enough to melt the hull of the rocket. And Elon? Perfect. We'll use that heat to toast the astronaut sandwiches. Efficiency. First principles. And what happens when the AI glitches? Usually you just restart the server. In Elon's world, you have to send a billionaire in a jumpsuit up there with a can of compressed air and a screwdriver. But the real genius is the legal immunity. Elon is essentially creating a data haven. If you want to train an AI on copyrighted materials or burn through enough energy to boil the oceans, you just move your operations to 400 miles above sea level. Officer, I wasn't violating the Environmental Protection Act. I was in international waters. Well, international heavens? Do you have a warrant from the Galactic Federation? No? Then back off, Earthling. And Elon really calls this method first principles thinking. Principle 1, I want to do something. Principle 2, the law says I can't. Principle 3, the law doesn't apply if I'm moving at 17,000 miles per hour. It's a beautiful system, and we've seen him do this with everything. Tesla, cars are clean. Pay no attention to the lithium mines or the coal-fired grid. And SpaceX, we are saving humanity by launching thousands of satellites that prevent astronomers from seeing the stars. And XAI, it's for the future of consciousness, powered by illegal gas turbines in a state that just wanted to grow some corn. He is not an environmentalist. He's an environmental escapist. He doesn't want to fix the Earth. He wants to use the Earth as a launch pad for a planet that doesn't have a Bureau of Land Management. And what's next? Probably a fleet of starships filled with GPUs orbiting the Earth like a ring of digital fire. Ring of fire? Yeah, sorry, got astray. And when the sun goes down, you won't see the constellations. You'll see the Starlink XAI matrix. You'll be able to look up and say, look, honey, there's the Big Dipper. And right next to it, it's the server that just calculated that Bitcoin is going to 100K. And God forbid we have space junk issues. We already have thousands of pieces of debris floating up there. And now we're going to have space jam. Imagine a piece of a Colossus server falling through the atmosphere and hitting your house. You won't just get a hole in your roof, you'll get hit by a hard drive maintaining 4 terabytes of Elon's memes and a digital copy of a free speech manifesto written in Sanskrit. So here's to Elon Musk, the man who looked at the EPA and said, I'll see your regulation and raise you a Falcon 9. He's the only person in the world who can be told his gas turbines are illegal and respond by trying to colonize the solar system with a chatbot. It's the ultimate hold my beer moment in human history. Enjoy the Earth while you can, folks, because soon the only thing green about our planet will be the glow of a billion transistors reflecting off the moon. I'm your host for Outside Views USA. I'm going to buy a telescope now before Elon puts a billboard on the moon that says X. Good night, America, and remember, rules are for people who can't afford missiles and rockets.